So we're going to graph this equation. Notice that this is a little different than what we normally see because we have degrees here. So since this is in degrees, everything's going to be the same concepts that we've already talked about, but it's going to be a little bit different. So let's write down what we know. We know A, which relates to our amplitude, is 3. We know, A is 4. Sorry about that. A is 4. We know B is 5. That's your B value. We know C is 7 degrees. And we know D, that's the 3 there, equals 3. This is from the Honors Algebra Tutorial book, which writes your equations a little bit different. Some books write this 3 at the end here. And notice that that would be the exact same problem. And also some books write this 5 right here inside, so it would have been written like 5 theta minus 35 degrees. Some books write it like that. So you just have to be aware of how it's written, what the form that it's written in, and make sure that you understand what your A, B, C, and D are. Alright, so the first thing I always suggest people do is they find their vertical shifts. So I'm going to your vertical movements, I should say. I'm going to first, and let's deal with those in gold. So the 3 here, that D gives you your vertical shift. And so instead of starting at 0, which would be here, your x-axis, it's going to start 1, 2, it's going to start 3 up. Now notice I haven't drawn my y-axis in yet, and I purposefully do that because I don't like messing up my paper. And you'll see why when I get to the end. So there's my center line right there. I like to draw a dotted line in right there. And sometimes it's even good if you write y equals 3. So we see that that's the horizontal line, y equals 3. 4 now is my amplitude, which means I'm going to go up 4 from here, and there's another vertical line at the top, and I'm going to go down 4 from there. So that's y equals -1, that's y equals 7. So those are my top and bottom points, because remember my cosine graph, which I've got here, is going to start at the top, since it's a positive amplitude, and it's going to finish at the top also. And so I know somewhere up here is where I'm going to be starting and finishing, somewhere up there. Alright, so exactly where, and that's what we're going to find out in just a second. Alright, let's talk about the horizontal shifts now, and this I'll do in green. And this relates to the period. So notice that the period is related to B, and since I'm in degrees, my period, instead of 2 pi over B, it's going to be 360 over B, which is 360 over 5, which equals 72 degrees. So my period goes from 0 all the way to 1, 2, 3, 4, 72. That's what my graph would look like. It would look like something like this. There, down, up, like that. But it's not that, because I have to shift it also according to my 7 degrees. My horizontal shift, or the phase shift, is 7 degrees. So what I'm going to have to do to each one of these things is add 7 to them. So instead of this being 0, and instead of this being 72, it's going to be 7 and 79, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take half of 72 first. Let's not do the phase shift yet. Let's find the intervals. Half of 72 is 36. Half of 36 is 18. 18 plus 36 is 54. And there are all of your numbers that you need. But I've got to add 7 to all of those. So instead, this is going to be, notice now I'm putting this down on the x-axis. This number right here is going to be 7. This number here, I'm adding 7 to everything, is going to be 25. This number here is going to be 43. This number here is going to be 71, and this number is going to be 79. Check my math, make sure I did it all right. And now that I've got those nice numbers, I'm going to erase all of these things out of the way. And I'm going to draw in my x-axis, which would be somewhere like over here. I'm sorry, my y-axis. There's my y-axis. And that's why I don't do that until the very end. And let's use black to draw my graph. And alright, so here we go. this point right here is going to be the top. This point up here is going to be the end of the first period. This point down here at 43 is going to be the bottom out, and it's going to cross the middle line right there and right there. And so now I can draw my graph in really carefully. And I even like to continue it so that I see that this is just one, that's just one period, but it keeps going on forever in both directions. And so there's your answer, and now you can very easily see your points are 7, 7. This point here is 79, 7. This point down here is 43, -1. And these 2 points you could plot as well if you wanted to do that. And to check it, if I wanted to be really careful and sure, you can plug in 7 in here, make sure your calculator's in degrees, and that better equal 7, because 7, 7 is a point. You could plug in 79 here and use your store function in your calculator and just hit second enter to get that equation right back, and boom, just check all those points if you want, just to make sure you did it right. That's if you're got time left over in your test and you want to really make sure you did it right. So that's how you do that problem.